All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the coronavirus. Not too much, and this is really not so much identifying this, and we're not talking so much about this, but it's interesting. I'd be curious to take a poll, right now with whoever's listening, and if you heard this, and because I saw this this article coming from the Jerusalem Post the other day, the 27th of February, and it says Israeli scientists, quote, in a few weeks will have coronavirus vaccine, unquote. And then it goes on to say, and I'm not going to read it all, but it's on the Jerusalem Post, and that's the title of it. Israeli scientists, quote, in a few weeks will have a coronavirus vaccine, unquote. It says once the vaccine is developed, it will take at least 90 days to complete the regulatory process and potentially more to enter the marketplace. And we've heard that kind of stuff from the from Azar of the Health and Human Services guy who's in the government. That it literally takes somewhere to about a year or so once you even have the virus to get it into the market. And I don't know why. I mean, I would think they could expedite it a little bit more. But my question is on this. I have not heard this anywhere. Fox News did not mention it. I've looked on. I don't look at the CBS, NBC, ABC, and MSNBC, CNN. I don't frequent those at all. Sometimes I'll skip by them, but I do see them on the internet because their things come up. But I've not once seen this. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people saw that, and maybe all of us that kind of adhere to Israel and may have gotten it more so than the world because we subscribe to Israeli news sites and things like that. So it's interesting because I'm saying, okay, why? If this is some good news, now obviously it's still trial, it's still in the pre stages because they still have to go through preclinical trials, but they've been working on a coronavirus type virus for the last year or so. In poultry, because there was an issue in the poultry, and they've been working on that. And when they took the DNA from a human to and put it in the laboratory, they noticed that the sequencing of the virus was similar to the poultry to a human. Now it's taking that human virus of the corona and then making it into a viable vaccine for human use, if you will. But they were kind of ahead of the game because they were already looking at it from a standpoint. That's why they could have it to market within 3 months or so, 3 months, 4 months, something like that, if everything goes well. So my question is, and this is what why didn't we hear about this from the news media, the mainstream news media, Fox included? Because we watch a good deal of news from Fox, and I've never seen this, and I would think this would be at least an honorable mention. I mean, but yet, is there something about it, maybe from an anti-Semitic standpoint, that our Jewish brothers and sisters who tend to expand a lot of things and come up with a lot of things in the laboratory, a lot of inventions, a lot of things like that. I'm trying to think of the word. If that is in fact, we see with the small population that Israel has, they have expanded all the different things that affect our lives on a daily basis, and also in the medical field. So why wouldn't that be mentioned? AviGayle, I'm going to have you, since you're the resident Jewish woman here.
Well, I think the problem is, number one, Israel, if we showed the list of all the things that Israel invented or discovered, we would see the hand of Yah in the children of Israel, without a doubt. I mean, there's so many, the phone you use, so much uh, medical information as far as cancer treatments and all kinds of treatments. So to me, I would say that definitely it could be anti-Semitic. And they could also, because of Fox or all the other stations being the way they are, it's politicized. They don't want to do anything because President Trump is pro-Israel. President Trump has the embassy in Jerusalem. President Trump recognized the Golan as sovereign. President Trump has been a defender of Israel from the very beginning. So it's definitely politicized. There's such a, but it's been going on anyhow. People are really, without even realizing how anti-Semitic they are in making their decisions. And to me, it's a concern for me because it's not good to be on the side of anti-Semitism. It's not at all good to be on the side of anti-Semitism.
Amen.
Because when you're on anti-Semitism side, you're against the creator of heaven and earth. Let's just call it like it is. You are, because our Messiah is Semitic. He is Judah. And so Yeshua is Judah. So people are ignorant. They are so ignorant to the whole, I know you love puzzles, but the piece of the puzzles, James loves puzzles. So I'm going to buy a puzzle, not a crossword puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle. And we're going to put it on a table and we're going to start doing the puzzle because I see that this right here is like a piece of the puzzle. It's like a piece of the puzzle.
I mean, if you notice behind us, that is a puzzle. I actually put that together. I did.
But the bottom line is this. I mean, I think it's just a spiritual darkness. It's a spiritual blindness.
Yes.
That's why you don't see it. And because the truth is, I believe that the Father definitely has a cure. Number one, the first cure is obedience. If you listen and obey and guard his covenant, none of the diseases will come upon you. But if there are people who, for whatever reason, do not obey and are disobedient and things happen, so they need help. And so the Father is merciful and he will pour out wisdom. We're going to read about it in this Pasha reading, I hope today. The spirit of wisdom. He pours out the spirit of wisdom in those who have a teachable heart, to those who have a heart of obedience. And those who are in Israel, those who are, there are so many that are really desiring to do what's right in the eyes of the king. And those people who have that heart, the Father pours out inventions, pours out wisdom, that spirit of wisdom. And so I think that's what happened. I think that's the problem, is anti-Semitism, and shame on them for not bringing it forth. Because I think you know what it is too? The sensationalism, the media-like sensationalism.
Amen to that.
And sensationalism, not about an invention, not about a cure, not to help President Trump, not to bring forth righteousness and let America stay the way it is on a journey of restoration and healing and deliverance. And no, they like sensationalism of fear, doubt, and unbelief.
Amen. I'm glad you said that because I wrote down in my notes here, and I forgot about it until you just mentioned that. And one thing I said, because because it says, why are we not hearing this in the media, in the news? And I wrote, media is pushing an agenda of blame and fear.
Yes. And it's sensationalism
because it works for them. They think. Because what they do is we're in an election year, obviously, and they're trying to promote an agenda of fear and blame. And I mean, if you read some of the headlines and things like that have taken place, where the New York Times and CNN, opinion people, or maybe not even opinion people, are blaming President Trump, calling it the Trump virus, and says if you catch the virus, guess who you got it from, type of thing. And I mean, it's like, really? I mean, it's crazy. So, but Jamie, what do you have on this?
Well, the way I look at this is the media itself, it was taken over basically several years ago, 1953. They started taking over the media completely. The cabal is what I call it. And they've been giving talking points, which they call them the 4 o'clock talking points that come out, and I believe they come from our CIA. And they go to every one of the 6 largest media sources in the world, and they're all the same. If you've ever watched any of the media, they all come up with the same talking points they're talking about. If it's against Trump, or if it's against Israel, or if it's against whatever, it's all their agenda and what they have in their sights to try to tear down and try to set up what the people think. Murdoch, who owns Fox, has been a rebel, but yet he's still compromised. So you have one network, or one cable network, that's the number one, that he figured it out. If he played the cards right, he would be able to ride with the flow, and he's got it going. He's got it working. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I think it's the University of Pennsylvania just recently also came out, and they're doing a testing on the virus, and they actually have someone in testing, a soldier that volunteered to start taking the test. And I think that was on Fox, along with Israel. Both of these were. There's 2 viruses, two antivirus that they actually have a vaccine in development in the U.S. and in Israel. Now, I heard that also on Amazing Polly, who has a channel, brings forth news, who's a believer, and she always has some inside stuff. Also from a prophetic word from somebody that I listened to. They said that Israel and the United States would both come up with the vaccine for this, and that was before this ever happened. So it's really interesting to see that the U.S. is going to stand above the world, and so is Israel, again, in this situation. I totally believe the coronavirus, the Chinese government as we know it, we won't know it. There isn't going to be a democracy that will come out of China through all this. It's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds. I think God is preparing our country and the world for the next kingdom.
Amen. That is awesome. Go ahead.
No, that's my opinion. There's a lot more to it, but most people haven't been red-pilled, red-pilled or blue-pilled. But, that's been my life since 1967, 68. I've been red-pilled. I've been on it, waking people, studying it, looking at it, and seeing what's going on behind the scenes. And there's so much, 9/11. If you ever study 9/11, you'll be blown away with how what a terrible thing that was, and the people behind it, and how they did it. All in our government. It's terrible. Terrible. There's a lot of books. I could give you a list.
I'm sure you could.
and something interesting in what you're saying, Jamie, and what James is saying is it boils down again to choices. If mankind chooses to be rebellious, if mankind chooses to be rebellious, is witchcraft. And so when you do that kind of action, and if that has happened with all of our leaders, if you will, you're right, Jamie. We've done research, and we've read a lot of information about when a certain politician or a leader of a country made a decision, it created chaos. It created death. It created poverty. It creates the opposite of what the king wants us to have, and that's to preserve life and to prosper. And he knows the plans that he has for us. But again, it requires our choices. So you're absolutely right. And these people, they just wanted to do it for their own gain. They wanted to do it for like who's going to rule the world? They wanted to build their own kingdoms as opposed to the kingdom, the king and the kingdom here on earth. His will be done. We call it the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your name is holy. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's the goal.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.